Hi folks, David here with another video. Thanks very much for joining me. And I do honestly mean thank you for any YouTube creator, all of those subscriptions, the likes, the comments, suggestions. They are the kind of thing that keeps us going, keeps us making this kind of content that hopefully you guys enjoy. And the comments and questions brings us quite nicely onto the topic of this video. Now, I did one recently where I was messing about with weathering powders and creating them, and I had a question from Mr. Dreamboat, as he likes to call himself. Can those weathering powders be used for rust effects? Yes, they can. Midwinter Minis did exactly that in the test pieces he did in the video that I took inspiration from to do my one, and for that we need to make a test piece ourselves. Now, this isn't going to be so much of a test piece as a finished piece. I had been reserving this particular base for a barricade of sorts, so let's get some sheet metal, get it rusted, let's make a barricade. Before we crack on with this quick build, I want to introduce what may be a new material to you. These things are drawer liners, fridge liners. You can get them for a couple of bucks from your dollar store. Loads of different textures on it, excellent for sci-fi and industrial stuff. This one is sort of like a, I guess, grid decking pattern. These ones came in a 6-pack, and it's got sort of like, you know, round for sci-fi. So get a bit of core flute or whatever you use for your walls or floor, slap some of that on, you're pretty much done. But this particular one is the one that I am going to be using because that is essentially corrugated iron, just with the pattern on it. And the good thing is, with it being sort of like a flexible plastic, it's going to stand up to the knocks and wear and tear of your Wargames board an awful lot better than just straight corrugated card is. Plus, it's the same pattern on both sides. I'm not going to show the whole build because you've seen me do this countless times before, but essentially I am going to be using flexible packing material, add it to a baseboard, pretty it up, add some ground cover, get it painted, and then we'll see what those rust effects look like. I'll stop that montage there just for a second and I will explain the next stage. I am at the point where I am going to be applying an oil wash to all of this. Then it's got to be patted off and it needs a good overnight dry. After that's been done, there's going to be some spot colour, mainly on this industrial rubble around the back. Some of those metal plates will be getting sort of like some spot colour. Some things which are wood effect will be getting painted in, and there is a fair amount of that sort of masonry type stuff that will be getting its colour, so the back of it will be kind of transformed. I will also do paint rust effects on the metal parts. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want the sort of finesse of a paintbrush. I'm not 100% certain with the powders as of yet, and I don't want to be flicking them all over what is essentially dirt. I do want to be keeping it to the actual metallic parts. But once all of that is done, then it will be the final stage, and it will be hairspray and test with the powders on that front part. Sound like a plan? Sounds like a plan to me. As you can see, the sort of spot colour on those timbers and the masonry and all that kind of stuff, and the rust effects for the small metal bits has been done on the back. We are now onto the final test with the rust powders, and I am going to have to work relatively quickly on this, so there's not going to be a huge amount of talking because the hairspray does dry quite quickly. Now, when you're doing this kind of thing, because the powder can flick and you may not necessarily want it on all areas, it may pay to just run, say, a bit of masking tape along the front to protect that ground area. In my case, what I am going to do is I am going to pop it on its side like that, so any excess is going to be falling onto the paper rather than onto the base of the model. So just work out your orientation in advance. Neuros first, and I'm using more of a pointy brush, just being nice and liberal with it. Then when I'm blowing it off, I am obviously blowing it away from the ground. There's a wee bit in the way of larger granules on there, so I will just gently flick them off and out. Alright, I probably could have gone for a far finer grain on that orange one, but it has flicked off and or blended down, and you know what? I think I'll take some hero shots. So yes, indeed, weathering powders can be used to do rust effect. And thinking about it, in any kind of modern-ish game setting, Trench Crusade, a piece like that, really quick and easy to build, including sort of like the ground cover between trenches. It's not a game that I play, but I can certainly see the application for it. Certainly you've seen me go back to the good old Terminator Genesis, because barricades are a big part of that, and 40k, Conflict 47, go for your life. As ever, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, please do, if you have not already, consider hitting the subscribe button. Certainly like the video because YouTube loves that kind of thing. Comment on how you would potentially use a piece like this, or the weathering powders, or anything like that. And I will leave you there. I'm glad I got this one out for you. See you next time. Toodle pip for now.